Welcome back, it's lesson 5, and this time we're going to look at the pursuit of knowledge and how you can spot that in Answer the Public reports. As always, let's start with a recap of lesson 4, where we looked at aspiration and influence. You learnt why the like branch on the comparison wheel is so revealing and how you can use it to spot influencers in terms of celebrities and personalities, particularly in the fashion and beauty space or other industries where image matters. We looked at how Google is a great source of data if you're looking to understand who influences real people, and why your mindset will be skewed if you only look at Instagram and or Pinterest. We looked at how you can also use the like branch to identify aspirational destinations in the travel industry and brands in all industries, and why, if your brand is appearing here, you're doing really well. In this lesson, we'll be looking at knowledge and what you can look for in Answer the Public to spot the language people are using in their searches when they're looking for information or knowledge. We're going to start with how to, but also how do I and how do you searches, because they're so huge in terms of how people search, and not just in the knowledge seeking space. In fact, think back to how you've searched over the last week. I bet there is a how to or some sort of how in there. We all turn to Google when we want to know how to do something because we trust that it will return a video or an article or some other content that explains what we need to do or know. In your Answer the Public report, the how branch is clearly a good place to look for this kind of insight. I've run a report on my hairdryer to show you. As an aside, using my at the start of your seed term brings up some really interesting results, and it's often more useful for how searches because I think people are more likely to need to know how to do something related to a thing they already own or have. I'd really encourage you to explore the difference between how people might be looking for products or services like yours if they don't already have them or use them versus people who do. So a hairdryer or just hairdryer compared to my hairdryer. Anyway, back to my report, and I have jumped to the how branch on the questions wheel. I can see searches including how do I use my hairdryer in Italy, how can I use my hairdryer in USA, how can I use my hairdryer in Europe. So a real travel theme coming through, and then the very broad how to fix my hairdryer. All of these are instances where someone, probably in the moment, is looking for some advice and guidance, and if you're a travel brand or a hairdryer brand, you could probably provide it. My advice would be to really consider the user's needs. In the Italy example, we can infer that the searcher is abroad and struggling with plugs or voltage, so you could create some how-to content to help them there. But beyond that, knowing that they're in Italy and they're looking to do their hair, what else could you create? Would some advice on styling hair in hot, humid weather be helpful? What else? The point is, you can answer the immediate need that you've identified from the how search, but you can also use what the how search reveals about the searcher in broader ways. It's not just the how branch on the questions wheel which is useful in a knowledge-seeking context though. Actually, the whole wheel will be full of insights. Task. Run a search using a my seed. So if you work in property, it might be my apartment, in travel it might be my flight, or in fitness it might be my stomach. Skip to the question wheel and start on the how branch. What questions are there which you could provide expertise on? And now explore the rest of the wheel. What else is there? If you're feeling overwhelmed, remember that the green dots should help you in terms of prioritising. The darker the green dot on the wheel, the more popular it is as a suggestion from Google, and therefore you can infer the more popular it is as a search term. So, looking at all questions on the wheel, can you find 5 popular questions which your brand could authoritatively answer and give value to someone seeking knowledge around? For me, the knowledge-seeking piece is really important. It's our job as marketers in today's digital world to be giving people the best possible answer in the best possible way when they're asking Google something. And doing that presents a wonderful opportunity for you as a brand or personality to show where your expertise lie. You might not be able to offer an answer to every single question that a potential customer has. Has anyone got the meaning of life nailed down yet? But where you or your colleagues can act as real experts, then you should do so. One final topic on knowledge seeking, which is worth looking at, is what I would call knowledge in context, and it lies outside of that questions wheel in Answer the Public. I'm going to run a search for omelette to show you what I'm talking about and jump to the comparisons wheel. Now, we all use comparisons as a way to seek out knowledge. It's where we might not phrase things as an actual question, but rather a versus or an or search. So we're still kind of asking a question, we're just phrasing it differently. So the versus and VS branches become quite interesting here, and also the or branch in places too. So on my omelette example, you can see that on the VS branch, people are trying to understand the difference between omelettes and other egg derivatives, or possibly seeking advice as to which is best for them, and we'll come on to advice more in the next lesson. Omelette versus omelette suggests that people want clarification on the spelling of the dish, while omelette versus oatmeal also suggests that people are looking to understand the difference between different healthy breakfast options. The point here is that when people are seeking knowledge, they won't always phrase things as obvious questions. But again, with these comparison examples, you can use Answer the Public to identify what information-seeking searches exist, and then take the opportunity to create content that showcases you as a real expert and gifts the public with knowledge. So go forth, create content and teach. And that's it for our knowledge-seeking lesson. To recap what we've covered and what you've learned, we've looked at the entire question wheel with a real focus on the how branch as an indicator of people looking for knowledge. You've learnt how you might prioritise questions to tackle, using the green gradient dots to understand which questions are most commonly suggested and therefore most commonly searched. We also explored how comparisons and the comparison wheel might surface people searching for information but phrasing their searches in a slightly different way. Finally, we looked at the opportunity for you as a brand or an individual to answer questions that searchers might have, and how giving knowledge is almost the expected standard in this age of digital marketing.